Saturday night, the Lakers got beat really bad. And it was just ugly. It was not a good performance. They lost 107-92 to the Toronto Raptors. I mean, at halftime, LeBron James and Anthony Davis had combined, together, the two of them combined, for only 8 points. Oh. Now, LeBron did finish with 20. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the star of the show to me, Saturday night, was Kyle Lowry, the Raptors point guard. Oh, my goodness. I have so much respect for Kyle Lowry. That dude was all over the court. That's how he plays. I mean, he literally was laying on the court at times. The dude gets knocked down. He's diving for the ball. He's tough. He's physical. He gives so much effort where, I mean, he took charges. He hit a three right in Anthony Davis's face. I went, wow, Kyle Lowry, that is a massive, massive three. And, I mean, he's a point guard. Kyle Lowry is a point guard. And yet he had 14 rebounds on Saturday night against the Lakers. He had more rebounds than any other player participating in the game. 14. The second most rebounds in the game was by LeBron James. He had 10. I mean, Kyle Lowry, he also, by the way, scored 33 points. He had 5 3-pointers. And I just had a blast watching Kyle Lowry. I went, wow, this dude is just a competitor. And I think his teammates like him. There's clearly a lot of cohesion there in Toronto with Pascal Siakam. And we'll talk about the guy guarding LeBron James, man. The guy guarding LeBron James, OG Anunoby. It's so hard. I'm so bad at pronouncing. I'm going to try it again. I'll say it quickly so I don't sound as stupid. OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby? Anunoby. OG Anunoby. I am an idiot. Please forgive me for listening. LeBron with James was guarded by that dude. And honestly, again, it's pretty clear. Never heard of him. And I do apologize to Raptors fans. Not only did he score 23 points, his defensive effort really kept LeBron James in check. And I guess he's been around for a while. Apparently when they talked about it in the game during the broadcast where apparently when LeBron James ended the season for the Raptors, 2-3 years ago when he was on the Cavs, he made the shot over OJ Anunoby. So I got to give credit to that guy, man. He really slowed down LeBron. LeBron James had a very quiet 20 points, but in the first half especially, OG was phenomenal. And I know it's really cringeworthy the way I'm saying his name. I'm doing the best I can. It's it's like when I do Formula One, and I try to do Formula One, and I'm saying things that are like British or Italian words, and I'm like, look, I never grew up saying this. I'm such an idiot. I'm a stupid, like a lizard brain boy. It's time, I want to take a look at the Lakers, and when I do, as I step back and look at what happened on Saturday night, Raptors-Lakers, I don't know how a Lakers fan can look at their team right now and feel good. I just don't. The Lakers have championship aspirations, and if you look back, they just barely beat the Clippers, and the Clippers were missing 2-star players. And by the way, people keep saying, I've gotten so many messages on social media where people are saying like, well, you talked about how the Clippers are missing 2 players, but you forget to mention that the Lakers are missing Rajon Rondo and Avery Bradley. And I mean, again, look, you're not wrong. They are missing Rajon Rondo. They are missing Avery Bradley. The difference, though, the reason why the Lakers missing 2 players is irrelevant is because the Lakers are not going to get Rajon Rondo and Avery Bradley back. They're not coming back. They're not going to play in the bubble at all. Whereas the Clippers are adding Lou Williams. He's coming off a quarantine. And at some point, Montrezl Harrell is expected to play for the Clippers. Montrezl Harrell's grandma just died. And he's taking his time to come back. The Clippers have said, hey, take your time. A death in family's awful. But it seems like eventually he's going to come back. And really, the truth is, it could be a while. He's not needed for a while. You don't need Montrezl Harrell until maybe even like the second or third round of the NBA playoffs. And you can really get by for a while without him. And then when he brings it back, you're like, oh my gosh, we are loaded again. So that was cringy. I'm sorry. I'm tired. So the Lakers barely beat a Clippers team that was not at full strength. And then they got embarrassed by a very clearly, much more obviously, more complete team, the Toronto Raptors. And it's just not good. Again, I repeat this. I don't know how a Lakers fan can look in the mirror and go, yeah, I feel good about my team. my team has a chance to win. I don't think the Lakers do have a chance to win the NBA. I mean, everybody has a chance, I guess. Technically, that's how the playoffs work. But I don't know, man. I would not feel good if I'm a Laker fan right now. Now, the Raptors, man, the East is going to be fun. Part of that is because, the way the NBA Finals are lining up. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that all the attention is on the NBA Finals. Everybody's talking about what team in the East is going to play what team in the West, and we all kind of assume it's probably going to be the Milwaukee Bucks against the LA Clippers. That's kind of the general assumption around the league. If you had to make a prediction, you're predicting those two teams to meet each other in the NBA Finals. And I think it's great people are talking about the NBA Finals. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I also think people should not get ahead of themselves. I mean, look, you have two conferences, the East and the West, and the conference championships are going to be so great on their own. I mean, think about this. In the East, you're likely going to have the Bucks, but the question is, who are the Milwaukee Bucks going to play against? Likely the Raptors, but maybe the Boston Celtics. We'll talk about the Boston Celtics and the next topic of this episode, where the Celtics just played against the Milwaukee Bucks, and they really, really did a good job staying with them, basically point for point. And so, man, the Eastern Conference Finals, we can talk about the entire NBA Finals, but just the Eastern Conference alone, it's really competitive. It's really back and forth. It's really interesting to me. And the conference finals are going to be really great, high-quality, interesting basketball where I don't know who's going to win. And that's fun to me. But again, I will say the Raptors seem like a team on a mission. And maybe they should be the dark horse that could beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, in the West, you have the Lakers and the Clippers. Obviously, they're 1-2 right now, and they're LA, and everyone talks about them, and they played in they were the kind of marquee game on the opening night of the NBA restart. But the Rockets, they play their small ball. They're interesting. They play, everybody spread out on the perimeter. It creates a lot of isolation, one-on-one opportunities for guys like James Harden, who draws fouls at the bucket, or you have Russell Westbrook blowing right by people getting to the basket, or hey, if you want to give help defense on Russell Westbrook, he'll pass it out to anybody and they'll hit a three. So the Rockets, I think, deserve a little bit of respect. Maybe they could be a team they're definitely going to be hard to play against. They're going to upset somebody, it seems like, in the NBA playoffs. And the Mavericks are unlikely to make it to or win the NBA, the Western Conference Finals. But I think they're worth mentioning. Now they're missing players, and I really think they struggle to score points in clutch moments. But I do think it's interesting. Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, there's something there. And whether they get to the conference finals or not, they're going to be interesting in the playoffs to watch. Now the team, I've been saying this for a long time, the team people got to pay attention to in the Western Conference Finals is the Portland Trailblazers. They got a ton of height. They have three guys worthy of being starters in the NBA. Yusuf Nurkic, an all-star. Yusuf Nurkic. Zach Collins is a 7-footer. Hassan Whiteside is a 7-footer. An embarrassment of riches with height. And then they have a bunch of dudes who can hit threes. Carmelo Anthony. Not to mention Damian Lillard. CJ McCollum. I just think, man, you really got to pay attention to the Blazers. They are a team that could do some damage in the Western Conference Finals. Now, the playoffs are going to be a war, and I just feel like the Lakers are not cut out for that war. I don't think they're ready. I love Alex Caruso. I really do. Alex Caruso, the former Texas A&M player, he gives great, phenomenal effort on defense. By the way, if you don't know, Alex Caruso is from what is the name? I forget the name of the town. He's from the town that College Station. He's from College Station, where Texas A&M is. I mean, that's cool. He's a hometown kid who went to the local college, probably lived with his family all through college. And he's a great role player. I love him. And he's great on defense. He gives great effort. He had a couple steals against the Raptors. And wow, that's a good fast break because of that steal. And LeBron seems to trust Alex Caruso, which is a big deal. And then the Lakers have a guy, Kyle Kuzma, another guy I like. But LeBron needs to get going. We've been waiting for LeBron to turn it on. And he had a brief flash at the end of the Clippers game where wow, LeBron was dominant against Kawhi and Paul George. But that was a brief moment. And the entire Raptors game, I was like, when is LeBron going to turn it on? And you waited and you waited and you waited, and it's like an engine where you keep turning the engine, but the battery's dead. There's nothing there. And so I don't know. I guess I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know how to close the segment. I have no idea other than to say that I'm concerned about the Lakers. I just don't think they have what it takes to win down the stretch in an important time, in an important, I guess that's the word, important moment where is LeBron? Did he check out against the Raptors? We were waiting, and he really struggled the first half against the Clippers. And I don't think he's got enough help to beat a team like the Clippers if the Clippers are at full strength. And then not to mention he's got to play the teams in the East. And the teams in the East this year, it's not, for years and years when LeBron was in the Eastern Conference, we talked about how, and look, I love LeBron. I think LeBron is awesome. I'm a huge fan of him, legitimately. But for years when LeBron was in the East was a joke. That's just not true anymore. The Bucks are good. The Celtics are good. The Raptors are really good. And so I don't think the Lakers have a shot at a championship this year. And I don't know how many different ways I can say that, but I want Laker fans to guard their hearts a little bit. Because my dad's a giant Laker fan. And I tell my dad every time I talk to him, I go, man, I don't know how you feel good, because I certainly don't feel good. I know you love LeBron. My dad is really drinking the LeBron James Kool-Aid all the way. And I get it, man. I've even said in the past on this show, the two people in the sports world you don't bet against are Tom Brady and LeBron James, because every time you think they can't do something right, they defy all expectations. That's why Tom Brady's playing it he's like 57,000 years old and he's still dominating in the NFL. But this year, I'm telling you, I have a really bad feeling about LeBron James and the Lakers, and I don't know how to end this topic other than to say that I just don't feel good about the Lakers' place right now in the NBA bubble and the championship and the entire the fight for the NBA Finals championship. English is hard.